It's not bad. And I'll option click in here to clean this up. To sample the paint. And you know, using color mode, we're just painting away some of the defects. Now it looks better. It looks better. It's not great, but it's better. Let's zoom out. Yeah, not bad, not bad. That just really bugs me in there, that darker area. Yeah, it's really been changed quite a bit. So let's go to the history palette. Make a new snapshot. We'll call it new. Scroll up, choose that as our source. Now our history brush is going to paint from that in multiply mode. And I'm going to come right along here. I want to balance this out. If this is going to be dark, then this has to be dark. And it should be, because it is the background. Yeah. We're trying to help the picture a little bit. We want to make it look good, but we don't want to change it. It's crucial that you understand that. And you'll never understand it unless you practice. So I've gone back to the paintbrush tool. I'm just working on these edges. So if anything, if you're taking notes, it's just a back and forth process. And I've just been option clicking or sampling these edges here. We're just cleaning them up. You know, when I'm not talking, I am working, and when I'm talking, I'm working. Whatever that means. All right, so here we go. Clean this up. I just noticed a scratch here. Let's go to the healing brush. Got that graphic processor unit thing working. Oh no, that's CS5. By the way, I did figure out my CS5 problems. I had to wipe the whole drive and reinstall it. Oh, what a pain. It took me 12 hours of downtime. Didn't get hardly anything done. But don't tell my customers. Oh, just let that out. And we're just doing the same thing. You know, we got the paintbrush tool. Yeah, I'm switching between paintbrush tool and history brush. Now here we got a little blend of colors. So let's get that collar. So we fixed that scratch. He's looking really good. Before, after. Before, after. Now, next, we need to take care of this moire, these dot patterns.
What makes a good scan?
What is a selection?
What are layers?
What is resolution?
What is a JPEG?
What is TIFF?
What is RGB?
How do I crop a picture?
What is a zoom tool?
What is a clone stamp?
What are levels?
My name is Eric Basir, and I have produced this unique photo restoration and retouching foundations video course to answer all these questions and more. In my classes and workshops, I have taught hundreds how to preserve and restore their personal photographic collections with Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Elements. Now you can have me as your personal instructor in this 10-lesson course. After studying the videos and easy-to-read workbook, you'll finish with a firm foundation of how to use Adobe Photoshop or any other photo editing program confidently and correctly. Let's duplicate the background copy. I'll do that by dragging it to the new page icon right here in the layer palette. I'll double click the name and type in D-Screen, because that's what we're going to focus on. We want to reduce the pattern or remove it. it, but we don't want to destroy the quality of it. We don't want to mess with the quality. So in a case like this, the first thing I like, there's a couple ways we can go about doing it. Let's try going to filter, noise, dust and scratches. So we look out. You know, looking at this, it's really nice. You know, depending on how close you are into it, it looks pretty good. But sometimes it can reveal even more patterns. Like right here's a cleanup mark. I think this is a little too extreme. I'd say jump down instead of 3 radius, 1 threshold. Let's try 2 radius, 1 threshold. Threshold keeps some of the detail. Or in the old photography analog language, it maintains some of the grain. But, you know, what grain is there in this? You know, this is just pixels. You cannot equate the two. They are not the same. But concept is there, and that is you want to maintain detail. And his uniform, actually, with what they call a gi, I think actually does have a pattern in it. Thank you for that tip. Thought I turned those off in that program. So anyways, yeah, I think that's part of, that's definitely because this type of martial art, they grab onto each other. So they need it real tight woven material. So you'll see that pattern in there. So that's okay. But I like that. Let's see what happens if we go to 1. And before, after. I have to say, I like 1. Because when you zoom out, it's awful. It's just weird. But when you go like that, then it's just like, it's grain. It's grain, you know. That's how it is. So let's hit OK. All right, before, after. Wonderful. So I'd say we can save this one, and we'll try to send this to the customer and say, how do you like it? And hopefully they'll say, I really like it. And they might say, hey, could you do one more thing? And we have to expect that. And it, you know, just looking at it now, I think that there's something else I could do with it. But like I was telling you, you have to at some point stop and then move on. And if you're being hired to do something, you do have to stop, because if you're charging by the hour, you know, they can't afford to keep paying you. And if you are working for a flat fee, you can't keep going when you have other work that you need to get. So, you know, you got to find a balance. So at some point, stop. When you think you're finished, when you think you've really made a milestone, and send it off and say, what do you think? And then hopefully they'll tell you, oh, I love it. If not, they'll tell you, I want some changes, and make the changes. You know, and really push that through. So let's close this out, and unless there's any other questions, I'll leave you with some things to ponder about photo retouching. And one of them is something that I always harp on, and that is, when you're working on the picture, you have to maintain realistic element of focus, contrast, and lighting. And, you know, when you're manipulating an image or working on it, you're modifying it, you can actually change all of these things. And there's no what I call hard and fast rules. But when you're doing responsible type of retouching, I'm not talking about fine art illustrations like this, which happens to be the photo graphics website. How did that come up? So you look at this element. This was actually one of the first photos I ever worked on. And let's see if I can zoom in for you. Yeah. Now, of course, sharpness is being degraded here because I'm just zooming in the web page. But let's talk about a couple elements in this image. This is not your average image, right? This is not like I took this picture, my great-grandfather took this picture, and I want to fix it up. No, this is called, you'd say this is called a photo illustration. You're illustrating, telling a story, conveying a message using photographs. So what I did is I had a photograph that I had made way back in the ancient year of 1990.